Testing 1, 2. I can't see chat yet, but I'll see it in a second. All right, going live. I know I'm live, but... Oh, let me grab my books. I forgot. We can talk about them. Hello, chat. How was your stream with Ann? I think chat's updated. Let me refresh and make sure. There we go. All right, we're good. We're Gucci. Hi, Quindy. I'll save these for later. Story time. That is John Overton. John Overton. Hey everyone. Let's see. How's everything look? Okay, we're good. We're good. What's up, everybody? It's Friday. I know that we said we weren't going to do a Reaper Land today. Dave is out of town, and I was supposed to be out of town doing the North Texas RPG Con paint and take. I did that yesterday, but they had Kevin working today, so Kevin is running it today, and then we'll have David and Lauren running it on Saturday, and Bonita and Courtney on Sunday, so I don't have to work all 4 days like I did for BGG, which is good. So I'm here today. I did mold making this morning, and Dave is out of town, so I figured I'll just come on and do some painting for a little while for the second half of the day on a Friday. I've been, I wouldn't say painting a ton, but ever since BGG, I started just painting, and I've kind of gotten a little painting bug, if you will. So yesterday at the paint and take, I did paint bug. So I did another wizard. I started a wizard yesterday at the paint and take. You can see there. So I don't know what I was practicing really. I've kind of just been practicing little things here and there that I think that are needed. Like I know that Anne does lining pretty good. So, you know, obviously a sprinkle of painting. And so I was just kind of practicing lining really. I don't think I'll enter this year. We'll see. We'll see how much painting I actually do. So I did this guy yesterday. I didn't do his face, or I didn't finish his boots. But I think the main thing is when I notice people first start painting is trying to stay, keep everything separate. So like the book, the pouch, the scroll, the belt, you know, his gloves, you know, trying to keep everything separate without any bleeding. And I think that's the hardest thing, I think, for when you're first starting out. So that's what I've been focusing on, is trying to keep everything separate and clean, I guess. Angela Emery was at the North Texas RPG Con yesterday, actually. So I was sitting at the paint and take, and Angela Emery is at a table to my right, and she's painting. So she has all of her stuff out. And so I was painting this yellow. So I did purple and yellow, candlelight yellow, to make this kind of orangey color on the, I got to get used to the green screen again, on his cloak, on his little front cloak thing there. And it created that like weird mustard brown color. And I tried to highlight it, and my highlights were too bright. No, she's not local. She actually flew in. So she's teaching some classes there today. But I asked her, I go, hey, Angela, what happens if my highlights are too bright? Because I highlighted them way too bright. And she told me to either I can blend them or do like a wash of the same color to bring it down. So I ended up just kind of dulling them down and painting over them. So you can kind of see where the really bright highlights were on the edge, on that edge right there, and like on the high points of the folded cloth. And, you know, it was kind of a disaster. But I was kind of pleased with the color choices, I guess. I've noticed that I'm a very earthy painter. Like I don't like, or at least I feel comfortable doing like dark earthy tones. They're all kind of mushy and blend together. Um, there's no vibrancy. I don't have any vibrancy, I've noticed. Here's the back. And you can see I was trying to highlight this cloak and it just didn't come out right. And I don't honestly know what to do there. So I have no idea what to do there. But yeah. You can see I was trying. I was trying. I did do some brown liner around the hair and the edge of the cloak. So that's when I was practicing lining. Keep highlighting and then glaze it. Okay. I've heard the term glaze before. Start over? Oh yeah, of course. I'm trying. I'm still pleased with it. I'm still pleased with, like, you see the parchment and the bag and the book, and I didn't do the sword, but just trying to keep things separate and not kind of choose the same colors. But I'm still pleased with it. For my 4th miniature ever, I think I'm doing okay. Starting out. But also, I'm excited to be in the studio. I'll get to your comment in a second, Kara, because I want to go back over that. But at a paint and take, you're in a dark room. You have like really crappy brushes. Like, I only have a very limited palette. I only had like Roy G. Biv with brown, black and white. So I was having to mix my own colors and everything like that. So a lot of the colors here are just mixed. I didn't use things straight out of the bottle, really. And crappy brushes. So I'm excited to actually use good brushes that I have here with decent lighting. It's my first time actually trying to use like good lighting and good brushes. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Glaze is taking a watered down version of another color and going over the highlight, for instance, like your midtone. So you take your shadow and your highlight. Glaze is taking a watered down version of another color. And so the middle color of that is your midtone, right? And you water that down, and then you go over it. Is that what it is? So it's like a wash. So a glaze is almost like a wash? Almost? And Quindy, you're doing definitely more than okay. All right. You don't have to glaze me. No, I'm just kidding. That's what Angela said. She goes, "This is your 4th miniature. You're doing pretty good." And I was like, I think I'm cheating a little bit, because I've been around all these painters for 15 years, and I've heard Anne and people talk about highlighting and shadows and washing and all these things, and I've seen them do it, and I've seen a lot of painted miniatures. So I'm just kind of mimicking what I've seen. So that's how I learn. I'm a visual learner. And so I think mimicking is, and that's what Gene told me when I first started sculpting, was find something you like and try to replicate it. Like, take a sculpt that somebody did. Yeah, I guess you're right. It's not cheating. Yeah, you're right. It's learning by osmosis. Learning by osmosis. And you take a sculpt that you really like and try to replicate it. And then same thing. You take a paint job you really like and try to replicate it. But Kara says there's a trick to glazing. You can't make it too thin or the bonding in the paint will come apart. And if it's too thick, you kind of get that shadow, that what washes do, really. Where it kind of clumps up in the shadowy parts, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's that. I think I only have one picture of the back, which is weird. I didn't do his face at all. I just kept him in shadow. I kept trying to dry brush the beard. And it wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it to. I was definitely not doing the dry brush correctly. I did dry brush the staff a little bit. You can kind of see that light brown little speckly parts on the staff. So I tried to do that there. I didn't touch his gloves that much. Yeah, I was just kind of focusing on certain areas. Yeah. I'm pleased with it. What else was there? Oh, we'll go top down real quick, and then I'll pull up some more pictures. So, switching back to another topic real quick before we start painting or deciding what we're gonna paint. I'm not down. I'm enjoying it. You know the theory, and now it's time to use it, John. Twisted it. Brush probably had too much paint on it. That's a hard thing to call. Yeah, my brushes were not good. Like the brushes we were using for the paint intake, they're kind of cheapo brushes because they're meant to be discarded and used by multiple people over the course of the weekend and things like that. So I'm excited to use actual like fine tipped, nice brushes. I know these aren't like the most expensive you can get, but way better than what I was using. I went to a tattoo convention last Saturday, and I wasn't gonna go there to get a tattoo. Would you like to relink? Oh, the Book of Secrets. That's a good idea, Kara. Me and my fiance went with a couple of our friends there, and Sarah was gonna go to get a tattoo. Really. And I was just going to get business cards from a bunch of local tattoo artists to see if I can make some connections and start planning a future tattoo. But I came across this guy from Indiana, Wisconsin. I can't remember exactly where he's from. I think it's Wisconsin. And he does a style of tattoo that I've been looking at for a while. It's these patch tattoos. Like this. This is my tattoo. This is the one I got. It's the embroidery style, embroidery patch. And I really like it. I don't know. Ever since I saw these tattoos online, I was like, oh, patch tattoos, kind of cool. And so you can see the fraying of the edges. Oh, I think I still have. Do I still have? Can you guys see the telestrator there? So you can see the tattoo fraying right there. And so, oh, sick, cool. So the edges of the tattoo are kind of fraying, which is pretty cool. And yeah, he did good highlights, and he kind of did the stitching on the fly. But this was the tattoo. There it is in like kind of darker light. But this is a chocobo from Final Fantasy, obviously, for people that don't know. And this was fresh, like a couple of hours right after it got. Yeah, I can't peel it off. You're right. Yeah, it came out really nice. So I think I'm gonna do a whole sleeve of patch tattoos on this side of my arm, like all down here, but all in this style, I think. And so that's really cool. Top down X3. I was really pleased with it, and it was kind of spontaneous. I wasn't gonna go get a tattoo, but it just fate came to be. And he was like, "What do you want?" And I was like, anything. I want a Final Fantasy tattoo. And then we were talking about all the different creatures, and like we could get a Moogle, I can get a Cactar, I can get the Mother Crystal, and then I said Chocobo, and his face lit up, and he was like, "Oh, I want to do a Chocobo so bad." And the first iteration that we were looking at a few ones, and he had an iteration that was just the head of the Chocobo, like just the head. And his partner that was also tattooing there was like, "You know what? That kind of looks like a sports team. It looks like a sports team." And did the history video get released? History video. Which one, Palos? Are you talking about the documentary? Not yet. But it said he looked like a sports team like patch. And I was like, okay, good. So he wanted to do the neck. So we added the neck to it. And I think it came out okay. So nice little chocobo. But yeah, he did this on the fly. He said, give me 10 minutes and I'll do a draw up. And so he did the draw up really quick. And then, yeah, did the patchwork. It hurt more than my last tattoo is because all of the stitching, all the little, you have to go over that over and over again because, you do the black outline and then he did the brown midsection and then he did the yellow and then he did the white highlights and then the brown shadows. So he had to keep going over it over and over and over and over again. So it's doing well. I got some stuff on it. That's why it's shiny. But it's healing. It's starting to peel a little bit. I took my skin off, the derm skin. I took that off yesterday. So it's itchy. It did hurt a little bit. It hurt right down here on the bottom because it got closer to this little bone that's right here. That's when it started to hurt a little bit. But he used Bactane, which is the numbing agent. So it got numb pretty good. But it's doing good. And I'm pleased with it. I'm pleased with it. And it's way bigger than I thought. He gave me a good deal on it. So, like, I thought it was going to be like a small little patch. Yeah, he shaved my arm right here. You can see where my hair. You can see the hair on both sides. Yeah. I'm naturally kind of hairy, so. But what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But yeah. Oh, it's way bigger than I thought. And he gave me a good deal on it. So, $300 for this bad boy. Yeah, he gave me a good deal. $300 for a colored tattoo that took 2.5 hours. He did it pretty quick. I mean, I was there for 4 hours, but he had to take some phone calls, and his kid was in school, so he had to keep making phone calls. But overall, the total tattoo time was 2 hours. So, yeah, it gave me a great deal. So when he comes back next year, to this tattoo convention, I will probably add 2 more, maybe. Most dwarves are naturally hairy. Yeah, he gave me a great deal. Okay, so I sat down today, and I was like, man, what am I going to paint? So I started looking through some of the Bone 6 stuff, and I really like the beetle folk, the scarab folk. And I was like, man, maybe I want to do some of the scarab folk. So I was looking at which one might be pretty easy. And I think I settled on the rogue. I think that's the rogue is a good one. Can I challenge you to do some color? Vibrant color. Okay, so if you want me to do vibrant, Kara, I think I'm going to paint this one. So I primed this one with brown liner. Shout out to all the brown liner people out there. So, let's see. I need to figure out a new place to put this plate, I think. But, we'll see here. So, I got the Christine Van Patten Batling up. And, obviously, brown liner doesn't show up very good on camera. Because it's dark. But, so, I oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Palos. So, I could do her. I have her primed up as well. I know her wings are glued on, but I can snap them off real quick. Yours is white. You painted her white. Yeah, the bat gives me a lot of options. Yeah. So I might do the Batling. I'm kind of nervous about it because she's kind of small, but it's okay. It's really dark, even with all the lights on. It's the brown liner. It's very dark. So, I wonder if I do. What happens if I use this? That's a little better, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Yeah, I can send you a pic. She's not done though. I started her the day after ReaperCon, and then she died. Should I just reprime it white? No. Or do you think that's okay? This was my first time priming with brown liner too. Yeah, you can. Yeah. Also, I've noticed the hard thing with like starting is trying to figure out like where to start. Like, do you start with the skin? Do you start with, a certain section? I noticed I said Quindy. I almost noticed Anne earlier on the turtle. I might try to snap her wings off here. so I can work on them separate. But I don't want to like break them. It might be pretty difficult. Oh, I can work around it. Who cares? Okay. Whatever inspires me the most. Let's see. I'm just looking. Okay. She is small, but she has a lot of cool details. White brush on liner. White liner. I did like I did read your comment earlier, Quindy, about wash medium. Do you do this? Wash medium and brown liner with a big ol' whatchamacallit? Oh, I even have gray primer. So I could do that. I might do this with gray. I might paint over this with gray. Nah, maybe not. I'll just start. Why not? But I have it right here if I need it. I have all the colors at my disposal. I kind of want to, let's see. I want to start with the crystal. So I want to start, I think, for me, on the crystal, because it's isolated from the rest of the miniature right here. And I think that might be fun to do. I'm thinking like a bright purple. Oh, the main color. Are you talking about like her skin or her robes? She's kind of regal, right? So robes base color. I'm trying to think of so I'm thinking crystal will be like a bright purple. Kind of like a geode. And then maybe a bright green cloak, main cloak, with a, what's really good with bright green? I see, I'm not good at colors, chat. So if I make this whole like back portion like bright green, like her over cloak, and then she has this shawl that can be a different color, and then she has this under like pants, which could be like a brown, like a light brown. Kara sent me something. Oh, I see. I see you did a bright. Yeah, you did the pants, the blue pants underneath with the purple, kind of pinkish maroonish with a blue crystal. Oh, so you made the pants almost the same color as the gemstone, as the stone and the staff, to tie it in, and then also the little blue turquoise highlights on the gem and the triangles. With a gold motif within the wings and the ears. And your accent color is the turquoise. Hey, Gilded Brush. You should get a color wheel. I should. So I'm slowly building out the whole set. I got the airbrush in here. I don't have it set up yet. I got my blue tack. I got my magnets. I got all the paint. I got brushes. I need a palette. That's it. So I'm slowly building everything. But this thing I will use at ReaperCon as well for streaming and things like that. And for in here, obviously. Yeah, clothes white fur, then the yellows and blues. Oh, I see. Palettes? They might be sold out. But by fleshing out your neutrals after your main color, you get a sense of for the whole thing. Okay. I'm going to copy your colors. Why not? I'm going to copy your colors, but I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, turquoise. What's a good turquoise that we got? Surf Aqua? Yeah. Good luck, Gilded Brush. I'm not even close to that. Oh, the color wheel. I don't think the game store has any. I think Michael Janae has one. iPad. Oh, sorry. There we go. Rich blue, marine teal, and copper verdigris. Let's see. You think Surf Aqua's too bright? Here's marine teal. Also, these haven't been mixed and stuff. Surf Aqua. Surf Aqua. I'll check to see if the game store when I go there later tonight. So the game store's shutting down today, basically, because Magic, the Final Fantasy set for Magic the Gathering comes out. And so the only thing that's happening in the game store tonight is Magic, basically. Everything else is not happening. What was the other copper verdigris you said? So that's the only thing happening in the Surf Aqua. I start dark and work up light, so I always know where I'm headed. Yeah, so I need to... Oh, I do need to practice that, because when I painted my past 3 miniatures, I did start dark. And then, obviously, you do the highlights and stuff. But when I was talking to Angela yesterday, she kept mentioning blending. And I tried to ask her a little bit, like, what she was meaning. And I just don't know how to, like, I don't know where to even begin. So I see that you kind of left it. I'm assuming you primed it dark because you have that black little section in the crystal there on some of them. There's the page. I always prime in burgundy wine. That's how I see. So you painted in that black there. I'm gonna keep this crystal black. Oh my gosh, these brushes are so nice. Compared to what I was using. Holy. Oh, these are so nice. Oh, man. It feels really dark on the screen for me. I wonder if my black and white balance is off. My white balance. Oh. Let's try that. Ah, better. Duh. That's why Anne pushes her out of the frame. Hers out of the frame, yeah. The Book of Secrets. Kara's Book of Secrets. It needs its own theme song. Book of Secrets. I was going to watch Letterkenny, but this is way cooler. Okay. Watching somebody that doesn't know how to paint, I guess. You said you did white fur. I saw that you did kind of white with pink, like magenta. Magenta-y kind of edges of the skin, like near the eyes and things like that. I am a brush slicker. BCA pink, okay. All right, let's get a brown in here. While that's drying, I'll work on the staff. What color is shield brown? Ooh, harvest brown, actually. Okay, I'll stop brush licking. Blended with linen white and then pure white. Oh, blended. I see. You're talking about the white. I don't know blending. Like, there's different types of blending, right? There's wet blending, I know, that I've heard, and you do that while it's still wet. Look at the book. And then there's the feather type. Hold on, Kara. I got to do multiple things at once. You know, chat, we're gonna learn. I'll pull it up, Quindy. Hold on. Or not Quindy, Kara. I really like Harvest Brown and Shield Brown. What are y'all's favorite browns? Do you know what page it's on, Kara? Is it blending and texture? Or blending page 20? 22. I went too far. 22. We want things to be smooth. There's 3 main blending techniques painters use. Void blending. I think that's the one. Think wet blending, but instead of 2 colors, you're using 1 color plus water. Okay. I know that Angela also said something about she puts both the colors next to each other on the wet palette or on her palette, and then she dips one half of the brush in one paint and then the other half, and then kind of swap and kind of blends them in the middle, like on the model itself, or like just takes her brush and does this, so the paint gets on both sides. Loaded brush. Okay, I don't want to worry about that. Okay. Multiple strokes. Gradually piling up thin coats of paint until the color becomes more opaque. Smashing 2 colors together and mixing, usually on the model. Okay, that's wet blending. Okay. Okay. Whoa. I'm happy with that color so far. I'm going to use this brush for this next part. Oh, sorry. I gotta get used to being in frame, huh? Anybody have any cool plans for this weekend? I was planning on working the paint and take all weekend, but luckily I don't have to now, which is kind of nice. Also, maybe chat can help. Well, I'll let people type first, and then we'll move on. And then I'll move on. Oh, I'm out of frame. God damn it. Okay, sorry. I'm focused. I get focused when I'm painting. Obviously, that's why people do it, huh? I just have to find my natural position and then adjust the camera accordingly. But my beard, yeah. Kara likes oxide brown, leather brown, and then maybe a dab of maiden flesh on peak. In it, yeah, isn't it, bruv? It's actually not too bad. Once I think you get the hang of it, once you find your natural painting position, because I was talking to Michael Janae about his natural painting position, and he likes to brace on the table, like down here, like this. So he likes to like put his arms flat on the table, so you have a little bit more stability. When I was talking to him, that's what he says. Gilded does the same. John put a sign or something where you need to keep your hands. Yes, or like it would be cool if I can get like an alarm, like a little beep that says like you're out of frame, like a little beep. I think the problem with being this far away is that it's hard to stay in focus for me, or not focus. Yeah, because it's on autofocus right now. But obviously, you would set the camera to be manual focus, and you would just have it focused right here the whole time, of like where you're painting. But I think mine, I really like having my elbows up and lifting because it's close to my face right here. And I just brace my, pinky. Mm-hmm. Oh, with table bracers? Yeah. Kara says, with my shaky hands, my forearms are braced against the table. One hand on the holder, and my brush should brace against the holder. And then you scrimp. Sculpting with these shows is hard for me since my hands are floaty in the air and I shake. Yeah. I'm pretty stable, I feel like, right here. As long as I'm pressing, I'm pressing the holder into my palm, I feel like I have a lot of control this way for me. I just also, I think if once I start scrimping, it's going to be bad for me. Scrimping. Once you start scrimping. Okay. I'm going to go back to your picture. I see that you painted like little black sections in the middle of the crystals. And then obviously you highlighted, it looks like with copper verdigris or whatever the lighter color is. Yeah, copper verdigris. You just highlight the edges. I know your crystals aren't done in that picture, but I'm just trying to mimic, Oh, in the middle, Ritterlich blue. Sorry, chat. I don't have all the colors memorized, so I got to type it in. Ritter. 9115. There you go. I gotta type in all the colors. I think back when I used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew. Yeah, I've seen a lot of crystal paint jobs, and like that's whenever I was doing my and I know that people teach gemstone classes and things like that. So I, obviously I'm just trying to replicate. But when I did this guy, I tried to do the highlight on the glass bottles, the little shiny part of like where the glass is reflecting the light. And I forgot who was there. Oh, Trashorama. Trash told me that I've seen a lot of people do like 2 dots, or they do like a little dash and then a dot for the glint because it's curved. So that's what I tried to do there. And I tried to kind of put them all in the same spot on all the, because I'm assuming if the light is coming from the same direction, all the highlights would be in the same kind of spot on the bottle. But how do people get that glaze, or not the, I think it's a glaze, right? When you do jars and stuff like that, how do they get them to look shiny? Like, other than doing the highlights, like how do they make it look? It's like almost wet, almost. Ritterlich. What a cool name. I also like doing this. Do you remember that guy from ReaperCon last year that got this tattoo of all of his little marks? Some people use a gloss varnish for that kind of stuff. Other people just do with highlights. It depends on the painter. Gloss varnish. Okay, because it makes it still. You know what? I'm gonna turn autofocus off and see how we do. Okay, so let me get it in position. Have to make adjustments pretty small. Okay, so contrast, really. Value contrast is the difference between how dark and light your colors are. Your brights will look brighter next to darker colors. So you fudge it. Like, you can make the interior of the bottle dark and position the highlights in targeted areas that look glossy. Oh, you're talking about the bottle still. Okay. I see. Same thing for crystals, I guess, right? Anything that's like that. This is almost like lining. Like doing this. Like the inside of the crystal to the outside. Because then you can go back over it, right, to try to... Because I think what I've seen Anne do when she does her lining is she kind of makes the lines very thick when she's first putting them on to outline things. And then when she does the actual paint job on the part of the model that she's working on, you basically go in and close it off. Or like when you're doing the actual paint job, you tighten it up. Same principle as NMM for the dark on the inside with the highlighting edges. Different materials have different ratios of color and contrast. Glossy and shiny things will be fairly extreme. And I guess there's subsurface scattering and all that stuff too. Like with the light diffusion through cotton, for instance, and the light's going to diffuse differently through. Oh, wrong color. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I do tend to get ahead of myself. How do you know if your brush has too much water in it? Like, and when do you know to even load your brush with water? Yeah, let me scoot in a little bit. I think I made my staff too bright to start with. You get a feel? Okay. I think I've painted 3 or 4 models now. I think I'm starting to get a feel for, how much, because like this is obviously too much paint on the brush for me right now, I think. And it's not, the point's not fined. So that's why people do this, right? Is to unload a little bit and then make it a finer tip. Especially when you're doing highlights, obviously. You don't want too much paint. Got it. And that's why people brush lick, right? Is to get the fine edge. Is that why people do it? Pretty much. Okay. Oh, saliva. Okay, yeah. I think that's what Trash told me. Is the saliva helps kind of bind it together a little bit as well to get that fine point. Maximum focus. I'm going to have to go back in and tighten up the middle of my crystal there. I think I made the Ritterlich blue a little bit too chunky. Spit blending. Oh my god, Ritterlich blue thins beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here and see what this looks like. So, obviously, I've done my highlights already. Oh, I'm a little bit out of focus. Oh, there we go. Sorry, trying to find the sweet spot. The Ritterlich blue in the middle there, you can see it's a little too chunky, and I probably need to add some of the. What was my middle color? marine teal onto the bottom. And things like that. Let me see about autofocus again. I know autofocus is a little annoying, but I think it might be better. There we go. My edges are a little, maybe makes a little Ritterlich blue and marine teal in the middle and create a gradient. Yeah, gradient. So when I think of blending, that's what I'm picturing, is like a gradient, or where it goes from, one color to another, but it blends really nicely, and obviously that's why people do wet blending. So let's see here. Let me go back to. So you're saying maybe mix a little Ritterlich and marine teal. So this is Ritterlich and marine here. And we'll just. And now you take this color and you do what with it? You just kind of go from the darker part to the lighter part. Stuff it between the two. Okay. Okay, I'll try that. I also noticed that whenever I mix two paints together, they become pretty watery. Like they get pretty watery. And without even adding water to them of the two colors, just mixing them together. There's likely the water in your brush. Okay. I am drying the brush, but maybe I'm not drying it enough. All right, let's fix the bottom of this crystal real quick. Sorry. It was always be damp and have some water unless it's not been used yet. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it is. It is the water from my brush for sure. Would you ever add the highlight to that color just to brighten it up a little bit? Okay, that's what I thought. I figured you would want to do that eventually. It's so difficult. Yeah, I'm mimicking Kara's colors. All right. I'm going to try adding the highlight a little bit more. Again, since I think I covered them up. There's so much different painting with nice brushes. Obviously. And good light. Plus I have access to Twitch chat, you know what I mean? We're just chilling out on a Friday. It's been pretty chill. So I'm all getting caught up on my mold making. Okay. I'm pretty pleased with those. I mean, it's hard. I might practice blending like gradient stuff on bigger object. Like get something that's bigger to practice on. I think that would be good, obviously. Pure white? I think I still have some on my palette from when I primed earlier. I'll hit the crystals at the very top with pure white. Obviously. Because I used copper verdigris, because copper verdigris is pretty bright, but I see you're talking about adding a little little glint of light at the top. Pink. Instead of doing the whole edge. Because that's basically like the copper verdigris. I'm so sorry. It's going to take me a while to make sure that I'm in frame, chat, but it's just because I'm trying to focus on the painting, obviously. That's why people do it. But yeah, it's hard to get a smooth gradient on something so tiny. Yeah, I'll find something. I mean, I have a ton of stuff here. Like, I think doing it on like a big wing. A big wing. Okay, let's zoom in. That's decent, I think, for my liking. Oh, I got a little bit of white on the staff, but it's okay. Nothing a little paint can't fix, you know what I mean? All right. I'm a real painting streamer now. All right, let's look at... Oh, hold on. Sorry. Okay. There you go. Oop, what am I doing? Why is it so big on my screen? Oh, it's because I'm zoomed in. That's why. There we go. Yeah, Kara, so I should have primed this a darker brown, maybe? For the shadows, obviously, right? And then you just kind of build it up. So I just go into a lighter brown. Lighter brown towards like, so this little branchy, the curved branches. Oops. There we go. So all the curved branches where all the little curves are, that you start going lighter towards that. And then you hit it with a highlight at the top of the raised, like, pieces of the wood. Yeah, you can still just line shadows in the ridges. Line them. Just like how you would line the edge of some between two things, but like literally in the crevice. So like that, this crevice right here. You just literally put like brown liner in there. Is brown liner like dark enough? Brown liner is pretty... Oh, it's pretty dark. Brown liner's dark. Any order. Oops. Brown liner is dark. That's a dark one. Is it okay to lick the brush when there's no paint on it? Is that fine? Or is it just because there's no matter what, there's going to be a little bit of paint inside of it? Technically, no? Okay. Just to get to the point. I like getting that really sharp point. Okay. I just won't do it then. Because that's why people do this, to unload, get the point. All right. Brown liner going in. Of where all the little crevices are. Oops, sorry. Out of frame, John. You know, brown liner has quite a reputation over the years. I remember when I first started at Reaper, that's kind of when the Bones, you know, a couple years after I first started here, the Bones the very first Kickstarter. And then I remember people talking about, like, on the forums and stuff, were talking about, like, brown liner being like the god of all colors. Come on, autofocus. What are you doing? Okay. What do I pay you for? Yeah, I'm not, yeah. It's just something I've seen people do. I mean, the only reason I do this is because I've seen people do it. Plus, I like the way it looks. Like I said, that guy that got that tattoo last year, that's a pretty cool tattoo. Especially, like, you know, in the painting world. Or, like, you know, something that you enjoy. It's always cool to have a tattoo of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Minis tend to look a little bit more dramatic up close because they're down on the table. Mm-hmm. Have fun, Quindy. Don't fall. Don't fall in. All right. Let's see what we did here. So I got brown liner in there in the shadows while it dries. I mean, it's pretty thin already, so it dries pretty quick. I'm going to touch up this white real quick. And this teal that I touched. There we go. Trash was telling me that some people, like, when they're painting, he said if once you get, like, really good breath control, or, like, if you're doing, like, really thin coats, like, while you're painting, you blow, like, on it, so it helps dry it as you're painting. All right. Now that I have done the shadows on the staff, we do the highlights now? Or Pseudo meditative. Oh, the doing in the breathing in and out as you paint to dry it. Try leather brown. Okay. Leather. Is it a bright brown? I mean, it actually was really nice at the paint and take because at the paint and take I was able to I had a limited palette, so I only had like 8 primaries, black, white, brown, peach, like a peach color, or like a, what's it called? Fair shadow or fair skin. So it forced me to kind of think about my colors. And I think that's why all my colors I did were a little bit muted. $90-30. Okay. Like when you look at this guy, you can see the cape I did. This was Naga green mixed with shield brown, I think. No, it was a gray. It was a gray, slate gray. And so that's why it's like a dull green to me. And I didn't highlight this very well. You can see I tried to. But I think capes like this are really good to practice blending with the shadows, like with the highlights and stuff like that. So more vibrant with less vibrant. Yeah, I get it. So I noticed that the first couple of minis I painted, I really like the vibrancy. Okay. Leather brown. Boop. Is this what you used for the highlight? I think. Very likely. Yeah. All right. I'm working on getting a second camera. Quindy. Like for the palette cam, obviously. Ooh, leather brown is very liquidy. All right, so I just hit the highlights on this bad boy, on this, and the highlights is like the most raised edges. Because I'm pretty sure my light is just going to be coming from the top. We're not doing anything crazy with OSL shenanigans yet. You feel me? So you just hit the raised edges. What's the thing? No one's going to see the back of the model, huh? I think when Kara was painting the vampire lady, I think Anne did that a lot too when she was staff painting here for a while. Like she did the dragon for Bones 5, and the whole front side was like immaculate, like looked awesome. And then you turn it around and it just has like, it was unhighlighted. It was awesome. But I'm probably gonna get a visor. Do you guys paint with visors? If you have like decent, like bad eyesight. Mech Boy, I don't know if Mech Boy's in chat, but at BGG, he lent me his visor one day for a little bit, and I was using that bad boy, and it was nice to be able to do things like this when you're trying to get these little tiny like highlights. I'm gonna go back and get some like parchment color, maybe, for this wrapping that's right here. Spoken like a true streamer. Box art painter. Oh, you're talking about like just the front and backs. Squidmar puts those in his videos. He barely paints the backs. He just speeds up the turnaround when it shows. Oh, so it starts like this and it's like slow, and then as soon as it gets to the side, he's like mixed linen white. Do you know the color off the top of your head? I know that's gonna get annoying, but instead of me typing it in over here, linen. I might be able to find it faster. 61. I'll get faster with the paints. You know, I know numbers of the miniatures. I haven't really, had time to memorize all the paints, paint numbers, or like where they're at in the line. I guess once eventually you're like, oh, white, linen white. Oh, it's over here. It's like in that section, and then you can find it pretty quickly. Up one step further with a linen white or maiden flesh on smaller areas, just like dots. Yes. Okay. So you said linen white with my leather to make it brighter, but not as bright as white. And you use linen white because linen white's a little bit creamier. Like it's a little bit of a creamy white. I'm assuming that's why people use it. If you hit the staff with pure white, it'll look glossy. Okay. It has a bit of yellow in it. So yeah, okay. So it is like a... Right, and so I just barely touch like little certain areas of this. I'm not trying to do like big highlights, just like little tiny dots on the little tips. So it's like highlighting the highlight. That's what this is doing. Hey, Trash. Well, what's up, buddy? I'm assuming you made it back and you made it back down there safely. Hey, look, I'm painting more. Are you happy? Oh my gosh. Yikes. Ugh. Yikes. Yikers. Also, I think something I've learned over the past couple of weeks while I've started painting is the paint is very bright, like as soon as you put it on, and it dries much muter of a color, unless you're obviously trying to make it super vibrant. But all right, what about here? Let's get up in there. How's this? That's a good start. So paint lies. Liar! So I think I'm going to try to hold this as still as I can. But right here, there's a little strap I'm gonna try to paint that like a parchment white, like it's like a cloth, like a, or you know what? Never mind. Whatever our accent color is, which is like a purple. Maybe it's like a purple, like little band, or like a little purple little maybe, because you kind of want to tie it in with something that's going to be across, or you just make it like a. I figured I would just use the maybe linen white with something, but it's like a little. It's like a little. I think it's a little ribbon like tied around the top. I think because there's also one on the bottom, but maybe it's not. But I think it is. Oh, sorry, chat. Come on, autofocus. Why aren't you autofocusing? There we go. What's BW? Oh, burgundy wine. Burgundy wine. What's a really light purple? Or no, maybe we do dark purple with light eldritch. Oh, sorry. Let's see, runic purple is pretty bright. With succubus kiss, like this, or eldritch purple. Ooh, eldritch purple. I think I'm gonna do the band this color base with a highlight of this color. Buffalo Wild Wings. Ooh, baby. Snow Shadow. If you don't use burgundy wine, then you can't copy Kara's paint job. That's just science. That's just them's just facts. Also, I think I've been putting too much paint down. Obviously, since I'm not using a wet palette, this stuff will dry out. But I think I just need to learn how to use less paint. One of us. Hey, Freya. Eldritch and runic purple. All right, I need this brush. And we'll do the dark color first, which was eldritch. Oof. Muppety texture. Yeah, of all the pigments, white has the largest grain size. So no matter what you do, it's like always going to be more chunky and prone to being chalky. Chalky. Yeah, I noticed whenever I'll show you in a second, but I'll talk about it. I primed this model with brown liner, and it was, it's obviously dark, but it's a decent color, right? Because it's pretty good for that. But I primed another model with just pure white, and obviously it had like streaks. It showed streaks on the model, which I didn't really like. And I didn't know if that was because I was using too little paint, too less paint. I say this is where the downside of having her wings on here, because I can't, it's really hard to get to this little section. Okay. So here's the model. I primed one of the Scarab Folk in white, and it came out okay, but you can still see some of the, because it's very opaque, you know. You can still see some of the gray underneath. More C-nut. I do have a harmonica holder, and I might try it at some point. But you know, he's had years of practice, but I think it might look pretty cool, to be honest, if you can do it. Okay. It still does. Yeah, it still looks okay. And I think priming white looks really good on the camera. Like a black prime, like black primed model. It's really hard to see. But I know obviously sometimes you want to, you know what, maybe burgundy wine. That's the answer. You want to see, so it was, what's it called? It's kind of not like underpainting, but if you were going to use another opaque color like yellow, it would kind of matter what you primed it. Is that the theory, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm really pleased so far with how this is coming along. I'm super pleased. I think maybe my highlights might be a little like overdone or too big. But I don't know. I think they might be a little too kind of big. You can if you see the ones right underneath the crystal, like here. Oh my gosh, this is hard to do. Right there, those two. It's hard to hold it and do the draw at the same time. Pink under yellow. Pink under yellow. I've heard that before. Oh, what did Green User say? I think harmonica holder what? What did I can't go back. Would be good or hard? I think it might be pretty hard. Are they overdone from 2 to 3 feet away? Oh, I see what you're saying. No, they look. You're right. They look good from like far away to me. Solid base coat of white. Use white paint after your initial layer of white primer, for example. There you go. Yeah, 2 feet away. This looks good to me. So you're right. I think I'm just overcomplicating it because I'm too close to the model, and I'm like, oh, that looks really blocky. But you're right. From far away, it looks great. Oh, bigger pieces. Got it. Works better with bigger pieces. Okay. Yeah, you're right. If I'm doing like a big dragon or something like that. Because like, let's do this. I'm gonna zoom out. This is like 1.5 feet from the camera, but it's also out of focus. I wonder what happens if I do this. This is about 2.5 feet away from the camera. Tabletop painting, baby. Yeah, look at that. I like it. I'm pleased with this. Now talk with an Italian accent. Ripa. Ripa. Uh, I have to like listen to him for a little bit before I can start. Quindali. Quindalina. Quindalina. All right, let's don't look at my dirty desk. Working on it. I'm using the Spawn of Mersaluth cup as my paint water. I was trying to look for a David Cecil special, the Hell Runners. Look even harder. I just have a lot of stuff off camera, so like if I need to write notes, I can do this. Write notes on my little Uline thing. I now see where the ghost and troll went. Hey, yeah, did you want them, Trash? You just left them on the table, so I have them. Also, Trash just got here, but I'll show you what I did yesterday, Trash, if you didn't see it. For the people that are joined late, I guess, or that just got here, I did my wizard yesterday. This was doing the paint and take yesterday. I was pleased with the parchment. Like this, I was really pleased with. I was really pleased with that. Yeah, Lewin's I like this model a lot. Lewin. I was trying to dry brush his beard. Didn't come out the way that I think I just didn't do it correctly. I think it still looks fine. But yeah, this was at NTRPG. Yes. It was my first time using metallics as well. I did a metallic up here on this gold or on the silver band, and then on the corners of the book, he has these little metal clasp things, and so I did metallics there. You can see I tried to do some weathering on the bag, on the edges. I've seen people do like a dark brown bag with like really light, like tan color little stippling to make the the leather looked worn. So I did that in between doing the paint and take stuff yesterday. I was pleased with. Didn't finish his boots or anything like that. Oh, this was my first time, I guess, successfully. What is it, glazing or washing? What's the difference? So if you look between right here, in between the two flaps of his little robes, those were the same color, and then I just took a gray, like a gray brown wash, and I washed that middle section to bring it down, to darken it, to kind of separate the two. Like maybe it was a different garment underneath with the flaps, so he had like an under thing as well, layers of clothing. So I think that was the right thing to do. I think I just it didn't feel right to me have all that the same color, because I figured they were different clothing. Oh, so this was a glaze. So I tinted it down a darker gray color. Okay, that makes sense. And in hindsight, I should have made it the same color as this. So you can see I should have made all three of the like exposed undercloth that same color as his arms. Now that I look at it. Yeah, okay. I was just trying to, so that was the glaze I did, which was kind of what I was wanting to do. Just wash it down in color, because that was all the same color. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's get back to what we were doing. All right, what should we do next? What should we do next? Oh, I need to highlight. I need to highlight the ribbon. We're gonna highlight this. We're gonna highlight the crap out of this ribbon. I'm just kidding. I think highlighting is my favorite part of painting so far, because I just like the way that what it does. Yeah. And I guess that's the beauty of painting, right? Is that you can just do it. It's meant to be a hobby, you know? I mean, you can get competitive, but that's the same thing with anything. You can get competitive with anything. Ooh, my hand was shaking really bad right there. And so, like right now, I think those highlights look really bright, but once they dry, they kind of. I'll get mugged 4 times. Oh, speaking of mugged, I don't know if I should say this yet. I'll wait until next week. I'll wait until Reaper Live next week. So there's a little spoiler for you. Okay. What to do next? So this is sometimes my dilemma when I'm painting is what to do next. I think Anne generally does like skin and like exposed body parts first, and then she goes inwards, but obviously everybody paints differently, right? But I'm just trying to think about, because I've had some issues sometimes where I'll work on something and then it's like, and then you go to work on something next to it and you're like, you got to be like extra careful, obviously. What? Poly Studios? Oh no, what happened? Is that Hyper Bunny? What do you feel more intrigued or excited about? I probably need to work on the robe, right? I think the robe will be really satisfying, and the robe should be the same color that I did the ribbon, right? You did a really bright kind of pinkish on the main sections of the robe. I'll do robed. Oh no, it's not. It's something that happened to us at Reaper, but in the mugged sense. But I want to wait to see if it gets resolved first before I talk about it. But because it just kind of happened, you'll see. I'll talk about it next Thursday. I'll do the robe. All right. So I did Eldritch Purple for the little bandana on the staff. So I'm gonna do maybe a version of Eldritch Purple for the robes, because I figured she's pretty elegant. Plus, this goes well with the blue crystals. Trash, I would like to get a ton of it, but I'm just gonna be playing in the pre-release tonight. The game store's shutting down basically, and that's the only thing that's going to be happening at the game store tonight. It's basically taking over pretty much this whole weekend. Now, would you just do straight Eldritch Purple? Because I think this is a good base color, I think, for the robes. Anything that's more magical was, yeah, because they generally have money, right? They generally have, you know, generally. And so they like to be more regal, and she seems a little bit more regal to me. You know, she has a crystal staff. That had to be expensive, you know. All right, what's a good base coating brush? Now, this is a good question. So for this like coating of the whole robes, what brush would you use? I think I would lean more towards the middle one. Or the right one? Because it's kind of like doing another base coat, right? Kind of. And so for base coat, you would use this brush, the right one. Middle? Okay, that's what I would use too. Okay. She's got trim and detail in the coat too. Yeah, that's what you did gold. You did that in like a gold, like a yellow with a white highlight in the middle. Especially tomorrow, expecting to make up and use any table space at all. There's no table space for anything but any pre-release. I think they have 120 people signed up. Oh yeah, Dragon Lair. That's your local game store, right? Yeah. Our game store. That's all they're doing pretty much all weekend. So I think tonight is capped at like 88 people, with probably a few more. All right. It's robe time. It's robe time, baby. I'm just gonna start with the bottom. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously, I just got my Final Fantasy tattoo. That was just coincidence. I didn't get it because Final Fantasy Magic set's coming out, but that's how timing lined up. So, I'm a big Final Fantasy nerd. Add a touch of white to it. Like pure white? You might have issues with coverage over the brown liner. Okay. Hold on. Let me. I still have pure white out. Isn't it gonna be very bright? Isn't it gonna make this color bright though? Or you're just using the pure white for because it's very pigmented? Oh, white will make it less translucent. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, Kara says. Just a little bit of white. Just a little tiny little whisper. Okay. You think this might be too much? Because it's obviously a much. You just keep mixing it until it's darker, until it's closer to the original color? I feel like I'm getting vibrant. Clippy. You know, I'll slowly learn. I'll slowly get faster and better at understanding. Beep ba ba, beep ba bee. Who knows? This might be my Rubicon piece. I'm just. This is on this model. It's really hard to. I should have obviously. I grabbed it when the wings were already attached. And so, also, another thing is how do you know when there's too much paint? Because, you know, on her dress, on her dress, she has all these little frills, like on the edges. And if you put too much paint, will it just fill in those cracks? And is that a bad thing? Because then it takes away some of that detail. Kind of like, I don't know, filling it in. So right now I washed off the brush, dried it, and then now I'm soaking up a lot of that extra. Okay. So I just went through and I globbed up some of the I saw like big pools of paint that were like on some of the detailed sections of her like sleeve and stuff. I need to get that airbrush set up. But I guess. Wait for it to dry and you'll see streaks. You'll get streaks or weird texture otherwise. Oh, I need to touch up this middle section. I don't think I put enough. There we go. Okay. All right. I think I'm almost done with the robe. Almost done with the roby robe. And then we'll start filling it in. All right, while we wait for that to dry, MSP is pre-thinned and is less likely to glob. Okay, there's definitely something you need to be careful of not accidentally blobbing on over detail. Okay. But I did like the trick of adding white, but you're right. So you just add white and then slowly blend it back to its original color. But the white is there to help coverage. All right, while we wait for that to dry. My alarm for Reaperland just went off. Nice. Let's look at this again. What is on my screen here? I have something on my screen. 1 second. What is that? I don't know. But so now that I have the main purple done for the once this dries, what do you do next? The blue, like all the little blue sections, or do you do that last, like working inwards to outwards? I know you primed it. You did like burgundy wine and then built it up. See that? See how chunky your texture is? Did the robe, skin, then trim, then blues. Robe, skin. Okay. So you did the skin next for her body. I might be able to do the pants, like base coat. Maybe not. Not yet. See the blending on the blending is on this. So you see how it's darker right here and then goes lighter that direction? But is that like, was that like the base coat right here? And then you just started like in the middle and blended it up and down, and then obviously went brighter towards the bottom. Depends on what you want to do. You can go order by order, just what you want to do. You can go by order and what looks easiest, what looks hardest. The blue is definitely going to be the hardest, I think. The blue part. The blue. It also looks like there's liner. Like there's liner, or like it's darker around the edges of the blue. So obviously to help separate it, right? It's kind of like that's the lining part, I guess, right? Lining of this to make sure that blue pops against that gold. And there's lining up here, right around the collar. I see that. You can lightly trace the brush against the sculpt to get those lines. You talking about the black lines, those little black edges? I think I'm gonna save skin for last. I'll do the skin last. So while this is, I mean, this is almost dry. Let's take a look. And I can see, like, on her arm there, you can kind of still see a little bit of black shining through. I didn't put enough there. But, oh, I got some on the staff. Rip. I gotta go back and fix that. Up close, you can really see the brush strokes. You can use that black to your advantage. Shadow. Oh, I see. Right there. Yeah. It is, yeah. It's almost dry. It's actually drying pretty quick. This is drying way faster than when I was doing the paint and take. So the while I wait a little bit longer for that to dry, I'm gonna touch up this little brown section that I have here. So I don't know how I touched that so much with my brown, or with my purple. Why is it having such a hard time focusing? There we go. Jesus. Wow, I really hit that really hard with purple. I don't know when I did that. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. It's exciting. Let's see. Let's take a closer look at these triangles. There's a natural little indent in there, and that's where the gold is. Ooh, baby. That's gonna be hard. Work section by section. Yeah. Like you would base coat this purple and then this blue and then this like her skin white. This yellow and then go in and start just detailing everything. You get polishing stage, you work everywhere at the same time. Forget where you are. Yeah. That's what happened whenever I was working on this. Like I would constantly go back and be like, "Oh, I want to do this." And then like I'll start adding highlights here. And then it's like, "Oh, I need to, you know, now I need to touch up the belt." And I'll touch the belt up. I just kept going back and forth. But that's just how I am. Really annoying. I'm going to block out that blue. I'm going to use this brush. So this I'm going to tie it into the blue on the crystals for the pants. We used Ritterlich blue in the middle of the crystal, but I think we want the pants to be a little bit brighter, so I should go for the mid-tone, which was marine teal, I think. For her little pants here, just like a bright, not a bright, but I mean it is pretty bright. I still have some on my palette. I don't need to mix anymore. John Vibrant Overton. That's right. I think I tend to lean towards like earthy colors to me so far in my painting journey. That's what I've gravitated towards, like really muddy greens and browns. Oh my gosh, that's so annoying. I'm so sorry. Where it's just slightly out of focus, like it's in the frame almost, and then it's slightly out of focus. I'm so sorry. That would drive me crazy if I was watching it. So I totally get it. You're just screaming at your screen. Move up a little bit. And we'll use the same color for the blue triangles in the gym. Oh, you're sick. I was wondering why you weren't here this morning, Michael. Agrax Earthshade. Oh, is that really their best one? It's not Blood for the Blood God? Hi, Michael. Welcome in. I hope you're feeling better. Do you know what you have? Do you know what you got? Told to stay home. Yeah, don't get any of us sick. Well, you came in at a good time, I think. Is it coming out faster up top or down below? Oh, you're talking to Michael. Flu. This next part's going to be hard. All right. I think I'm going to save the yellow. Or do you just base coat the yellow and then line it? Or do you line first? Would you line first? So the gold trim is scary, but I think what's scarier is the lining. And what color would you use to line? Black? Just pure black? I like whenever it's best to line. I go orange brown base, blonde hair, targeted highlight, linen white. I go orange brown base, blonde hair highlighted, targeted. Oh, Kara, what are you talking about? Orange brown base, blonde. Oh, you're talking about the gold? Is this the gold? The trim? I'll wait for that. I think lining is, you want to line first, right? Generally, you want to line before you start adding in like your middle sections and your highlights and things like that, right? So I think I'm gonna try lining, and I think let's look. So for lining, we start on all the triangles, right? We want to like line here around the collar. Line the jewel. That's pretty easy. Because the idea, right, from what I've seen, I think Anne does it, is like you do your lines like this, right? You line everything, and then when you paint this section, you can go back over it to make the lines really thin. Like you can make your lines pretty big to start with, and then slowly bring them in. Lining when there are separate elements on the mini. Or do you just do the gold and all that stuff and then line like very thin line? You get like the smallest brush you have and just barely touch the edge to like separate everything. The jewel was a dark solid color first, then a small mid-tone, then a smaller highlight. It looks like I lined it, but you didn't. Okay, so this started out as a burgundy wine dark little gem, and then you did the blue, the middle section right here. Oops. This one. And then you hit it with that little highlight. Yeah, dark to light. That's how a lot of people paint, right? Okay. Did you line? Oh, I guess you didn't line all this either. Like, did you line this? Like, I see little little black lines around the gold and the yellow, or was that just the leftover where the cape meets the sleeve? Yes, I see that right here. Nope. Oh, you didn't. Okay, so those are just those are just the primed color underneath. Hmm. So I might have to reverse engineer it myself, do it away. Line last, have really good brush control. It's easier to do. Yeah. You know what? I'll line last. I might just do the gold next. The orange brown. Just so I can block it out. I'll try lining last. Maybe the mouth. Oh, yeah, that just looks like a shadow, like a dark shadow. Yeah, that way you don't have to be as steady and accurate with lines. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Skin a bat. Yeah, we're skinning a bat right now. There's one. I think Anne has one of those magic brushes like on the Roadrunner. A couple of broad strokes and Viola finishing picture. All right, let's line the gold, I think. And you said orange brown. What color would you use? Is there an orange brown? Is there a color called orange brown? $92.01. This color? Okay. Gotta stay hydrated. You also like my impromptu handle? This is one of the few things I could just grab in the studio. I don't have a proper handle yet myself. Yeah, I gotta get me one of those Jacob Jansen, like really nice wood turned ones. Now we're talking. Can you guys hear this when I do it on this microphone? Get that paint shaking ASMR. All right. That's what I base yellows in, is orange brown. Burgundy wine can be the drop shadow, deep shadow. If you saw my Artificer Adventure Cat, those are my colors. A splash of Sarin Ray yellow. Lightly hear it. Okay. All right, let's try to hit this gold. And I say gold, I meant orange. Orange brown. Here we go. Wish me luck. I believe. Extreme focus. You know, eventually I'm going to have a visor on at some points, so it's going to look funny. I don't know what it's going to look like on the camera. Yeah, I'll have a big old visor right here, like right in front of this camera. Okay, so far so good. That was also a thing in the color guard world. Okay. Elbows in, John. Was sometimes when you're performing, like when you're doing a marching show or you're out on the floor, you just forget to breathe sometimes when you're because you're so focused. Ooh. So far, so good. Gotta get this back section. And then I'll refill and do the shoulders. Gotta do the shoulders. All right, let's do the cuffs now. Gotta glance up and look at chat real quick. Now panic. Thanks for being here and helping me, chat. Chat helps Noob paint. I'm just trying to join the cult of burgundy wine, you know? And brown liner. People still preach brown liner, right? I know that it was a big thing back in the day. So I know Ludo uses it to prime all the paint and take or the hobby hijinks models. Usurp. I haven't used it. Yeah. What happens if I never use it? You think Kara would hurt me? What happens if I just never use it? Oh, I gotta do the other sleeve. Duh. And I might have to. I think I have a smaller brush that I can try. I think I'm using too big of a brush for this. And I know I have a smaller one. I just kind of being stubborn at the moment because I started. But all right, got that sleeve. Got that sleeve. Got the back of this robe. Now I need to do the bottom half. Yeah, my point is getting raggedy. How do you get it not raggedy? And don't say lick it. Let's see. It's a smaller point. but not the smallest. Oh, here we go. This is what. This is what I should be using. Then the liner police will come to you. No, not the liner police. So I barely load this brush. Like, I feel like I just barely put anything on it. Okay, if you rinse your brush more often instead of just dipping it back in for more paint, it won't get... Okay. Yeah, I notice I don't really wash my brushes as much. Sorry, I need to go back to the reference picture to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, yeah, so you did this whole thing. And then you did the belt as well. Oh, this tip is much better for this. I should have been using this to begin with. Now I know. You live and you learn. But I feel like I have to load it a lot more, right? Hey, Gilded. That's the name of the show. Hot Tips with John. Hot Tips. You know, sometimes the brush is, it feels like it's like the right size for the whole edge. So you just kind of lightly press it down onto the edge and then it covers the whole, like edge of the, like for this, like her, oh my gosh, you guys can't even see. I'm so sorry. Where this orange is right here, this, I just pressed lightly like the whole edge and it just went all the way down and it kind of covered the full top half of that. That felt satisfying. Just like what I did there. Yeah, that was really nice. That whole edge there. Ooh, chef's kiss. That was some nice stuff. This little section's in shadow, and it's really hard to... I don't know if it's like a casting thing or... I think it's fine. Okay. And then you did gold on the tops of the triangles of each of the little tiny triangles. Now, I see there's a little pattern in there, and it looks like I can't see on yours where the pattern is. I might just go inside the little crevices that are in there. There's a little crevice. So here, can you guys see right there where the triangles are in the sleeve? I think I'm just going to do the same gold orange lining that I did inside that little tiny recess at the top, and right there. I'm just gonna put gold in all those little recesses. If you can do it, give you 100 nut bucks. Cause where did you put the gold? It did. I can't see that same recess in yours. See, I can't see that. I can't see that same little recess. It's on both of the ridges. Oh, she may have changed it. Oh, I see. You're right. Because I don't see ridges on this one. Oh, no, I do. I can see it right here. You can kind of see the ridges there. I see what you did, I think. You hit both of the tops of the ridges with gold and then put gold in the middle as well. I think. You just went over both. Mm-hmm. All right. I'll try it. Ooh, that's hard. Oh, that's hard. Look at that. So far, so good, I think. I will have to go back and touch up the purple, obviously, but I think that's the point, right? That's what you want. Oh wait, where am I at? Oh, I got lost for a second on the model. Sounds like someone is on a ventilator. Oh, they're doing some work in the. Do you guys hear that big air compressor noise? That is from COcast. So when he puts the mold release, the talc powder onto the mold, there's a little air gun that they use to blow out the mold into the air collection machine. All right, I did it on that side. Now I got to do the other side. I'm kind of being a little dirty with it because I know that I'll probably go back over it with the purple to bring in if I overdo the gold a little bit. Okay. I don't know why it gets out of focus when I barely move it like that, but I think it's because it's trying to focus on the bottles. Okay. I gotta line the sleeves next, the sleeve triangles. So I lined the gold of the shawl, the little overcoat, the little necklace. I gotta hit a little bit more. So I'm gonna do the sleeves next, I think. Oh, did you do the middle section? Oh no, you didn't. Okay. You just left that as is because that's part of the cloth. Look at her. She's coming together. She's looking good. All right, let's do the sleeves. All right, I got it adjusted. This is significantly harder here. The sleeves. Ah. Lost control of it there for a second. Oof. The sleeves are definitely harder. They seem smaller. You know what? Maybe I do need to paint down here. This will probably help me stay in focus a little bit better if I paint down here. I'll try it. Oh, my hat's in the way now. Okay, okay. New arm positions. Might need to adjust the camera now. Now that I kind of actually understand what the angles and stuff I like to paint at. Ooh, the sleeves were significantly harder. They definitely don't look as good. Nothing a little bit of paint can't fix. All right, really quick, I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit. I'm going to tilt it down a little bit. Ooh. Time to get a tattoo? Oh, my thumb. Hello? I was about to say, why is it not focusing? All right. Where's my... I'm going to hit this jewel. Ding. And then, what do I do next? Now that I have everything kind of blocked in. Highlights? Jewel, not a sponsor. Hey, Roger. Welcome in. I didn't like that brush very much, to be honest with you. All right, what do I hit now? I might have made the jewel too bright. I have the power. I could. What do I do? Do you do the blue triangles? The blue triangles next? What color did I use for that? It was marine teal, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I made the jewel too bright. I'm going to paint over it. I think I'm just kind of blocking in. So right now I think I'm going to block in the triangles. Right? Let me get a good position here. Yeah, that jewel's way too bright. Ooh, this is hard. These triangles are so small. Oh, and I'm just out of focus. Gosh, that's so annoying. Where I'm like just barely there. For the future. Oh, I was able to Trash was able to help me, luckily, get my copy of Dagger Heart. So I have my copy of Dagger Heart now. And I've been reading through it. And they started an actual play, an 8 little mini series for Critical Role. I'm sorry, my hat. I adjusted the camera, so I gotta get used to it. This is a more comfortable position right now, so I feel much better about the camera being in this position. But watching, the thing I was really worried about was how the no initiative was going to take place. Like how they were gonna make that work, and it actually works out okay. But I think it just depends on the group. Once you learn how the system works, it should be okay. But one thing I really like about it is that you're not like, you don't roll initiative at the beginning of combat and then you're sitting there like you're at the bottom of the initiative order. Hey Maltex, what were you painting? Where you're just waiting at the bottom of the initiative order, like waiting to go, and then you have a lot of time to think about what you're going to be doing during your turn. Fire Gaunt. Oops. Is it just me or she's slightly out of focus sometimes? I think it's trying to focus on my thumb. Oh, love me a it's an undead fire giant. Oh, that's why it's called a gaunt. Fire Gaunt. I'm gonna use Ritterlich Blue, Kara, I think, to paint this jewel a darker color. And then build it up from there. Yeah, these are the same leaves, Maltex. The other ones I gave to Bonita has them because she's working on the graveyards for ReaperCon. But I just found these in the studio today, and I figured it'd be a good little impromptu holder. Oh my gosh, why is that having such a hard time focusing? It's trying to focus on something else, but I don't know what. My fingers are the leaves. It's hard because it's the black on black. Oh, I have decent tweezers. All right, let's zoom in. Let's see how I did on the triangles. She's coming along. Oof, gotta fix that gem. For some reason, I hit it with that blue on accident. Yeah, Kara, where did you post it? In the Discord? Works in progress? I don't see a post on Insta. Hobby General? Sorry. This one? Yeah, I see what you did on the gems. It's kind of a darker top with a brighter bottom with a glint on top. It's dark everywhere except for the bottom. And a highlight where the light hits. The bottom highlight opposes the glint. Because it's going through the gem and then reflecting at the bottom, right? So for this blue gem, it would be bright blue on the bottom, dark blue on top, or just dark on the top with a white glint. For this gem. So I need to hit it on the bottom. I see you have white on the bottom. So you would put like a lighter blue on top of Ritterlich on the bottom and then hit that with white. Yeah, I've seen folks go straight up to black. You only want the top glossy bit to be pure white. And then just blend on the bottom. So like I have Ritterlich blue on this gemstone. So now I need to hit it with marine teal or copper verdigris. These would be like the mid-tone into highlight for the gem. So you would go this towards the middle and then this towards the bottom. Marine teal and then a little bit on the bottom of copper verdigris. Small marine teal, smaller copper verdigris. Small marine teal. Okay, here I go. I'll try it. Hey, Night Whisper. You again. What's up? And then even smaller copper verdigris. Even smaller on the bottom. Oops. Probably did too much. And then on the top, you just do like a little tiny glint of pure white. Just a little tiny glint. Hey! A Night Whisper? Yeah, here. Here you go. There you go. All right. Here, let's zoom in. Look at that jewel. Look at that bad boy. That's a jewel. Look at that. That's awesome. That's badass. That's a cool jewel. Okay. Let's go back to the picture here. All right. You know what? I think what I want to end with is the highlighting of the edging. Don't clip that. The lining of her ropes. I want to finish the gold part. So I know you mentioned it earlier. You did orange base, and then what? I know it's going to highlight towards the middle of the raised parts, like a kind of a brighter color, and then it looks like it's almost a white, like it's a canary yellowy towards like the very peaks of the gold. Blonde hair, linen white, pure white. So you do blonde hair like in the middle, linen white even closer to that, and then pure white at the very top. Blending. Blonde hair. Oh, it's right here. I just looked right at it. Blonde hair. ASMR. All right, blonde hair, linen white. I have a vortex maker, Voltex. It's over here. It's just off screen. You need a vortex. Okay, so blonde hair, linen white, pure white. So, like this. And so, but I do like a coat of blonde hair on the parts leading up to the highlight. Here, I'll show you on the model. Here, oh, you know what? I'll go back to yours. So you do like, for instance, this whole section right here in blonde hair, right? You do like a little strip of blonde hair, let it dry, and then you do the linen white right here, and then you hit just the tip of it right there with linen white. Is that the idea? Or pure white? Or pure white's only for like the very little tiny little specks of highlights. So like from here to here, I do blonde, and then from like here to here, I do linen white, blending it, I guess, towards, because they're pretty blending, and then pure white right there. I think that's how you would do it. Ooh, baby. See how fast I can do this. Not fast, but let's see where. Hold on, I'm getting a ton of text messages. Hold on, I gotta answer my fiance. Um, all right. Top down, X3. I'm fancy. All right, blonde hair. We'll see how this goes. So I just do like a little strip of blonde hair from like here to here. Kind of like that. I feel like that's too blocky. It's not like blended enough. So once this dries, it won't be as bright, right? And I just want to put this where all of the little like highlights are going to be. Oh yeah, well, non-metallic metal is blending challenge. If you're glazing, you can do brush strokes on that both sides towards the bright spot too, because you're deposit more pigment where each stroke ends for added pigment gradient. Oh, so once this dries, I can glaze. That's what you're saying, is glaze like towards the top and bottom to kind of help blend it into the original color. To help like bring down the edges of that. Instead of having this little rectangle, it'll kind of I can gradient in. Is that the idea? Start from the ends to blend better because it will be thinner. I think Over's getting at. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You're going lighter touch, more watery to more concentrated and more pressure at the end of your stroke. Start from the ends to blend better because it will be thinner. You actually want less pigment, more transparent at the ends to blend smoother. Okay. What happens if it's like for instance, this little section right here? Would you start in the middle and then go up so your pigment's thin at the top, and then start in the middle again and go down so your pigment's thin at the bottom? Is that the idea? No, it will be thinnest at the start of your stroke if glazing. Okay. And thickest where you lift at the end. Yeah. Blends. Those dang metal connotails. Okay. It kind of leaves a drop where you lift at the end, which pulls pigment off the brush, leaving it at the end of the stroke. Oh, so the opposite. You want to go from like where you start. Well, you're talking about when I glaze. I haven't got that far yet. Yeah, I haven't got that far yet. I think that's what I'll do. Try next. Once I finish this highlight. Because that will help me understand glazing a little bit. Because I haven't. I mean, paint always does that, but it's noticeable at thin consistency. Okay, yeah. At least before I start using oils. I'm using almost all glazing and done a million layers of glaze. Yeah, I think the next thing is getting the consistency. And if you're not glazing, little small touch to more pressure will create a shape that builds towards the end of your stroke. All right, let's take a gander. So you see, right now they're really blocky to me. So I think that's what we're talking about, right? Is glazing to kind of help blend it into that orange. Because it feels a little bit too bright right now. And obviously, this is really close. Like, honestly, from far away, like holding it 2 feet away from me, it doesn't look bad at all. But obviously, zoomed in like this, I can see where it's very blocky. And I'm having problems. Like yesterday, when I was trying to highlight and stuff like that, I was having problems with the blending of the colors. See, like, look at it from that distance. That's about it's about 2.5 feet right there from the camera. Ooh, baby, that's looking pretty nice. I'm pretty pleased with it so far. Thanks, Twitch chat and stream chat. It's coming along. I'm actually surprised about how decent it looks to me. I'm surprising myself a little bit. Look at that. Woo. That gym looks awesome though. I'm very pleased with how that gym's coming out. Ooh. Hold on. Just checking in on what's going on. Enhance the gym. Enhance. You mean like this? Is that what you mean by enhance? But yeah, just ignore the back. We haven't touched the back very much. Obviously, there's not much on there. Oh, I didn't do any of the trim highlights on the back. That's fine. We're just working on the front for practice at the moment. I'm very pleased with the gym, though. That's. You got pulled away from your desk? Yeah. You have your meetings and people stopping you. We thought you exploded in a big pull of pee. Damn, that's a good start. That's pretty awesome. But now I just got to try to do this blending here. That might I might explode with how we're feeling. What was this? 3 hours worth of work here with a little bit of chit chat. That's pretty good, in my opinion. I'm stoked. All right, let's try this glaze real quick. And I took a night class in glazing at a local con. The instructor will be going to ReaperCon, but not teaching there. Oh, interesting. Do you know who it is, Night Whisper? So if I was going to glaze this color to make it blend in. Oh, Geltip? I've heard that. I feel like I've heard that name before. What color would I glaze with? Like, because I used the burnt orange. Wait, what was it called? Orange brown? So I used orange brown on the trim and then used blonde hair. And then now what? Do I make a glaze of burnt orange? Or brown orange, sorry. Okay. I would make a thinning the brown orange. Okay. Brown orange. Let's do this. I'm sorry I'm using a plate because I'm a heathen, but I'll get a palette soon. 60 paint, 40% water. So if I do like 2 drops, 1, 2, and then I have some water in a bottle. Try not to glaze things with white in it. Okay. So how much? So you said 60, 40. So I think I'll do my drops of water over here. 1, 2, 3. To smooth a hard transition between 2 colors, you can actually glaze with each of the 2 colors starting on the opposite color and drawing into the line and lifting so little goes on each side. Where'd my model go? Oh, there it is. So you're saying glaze with linen white going towards the line this way, and then glaze with orange orange brown from the here going towards this line. Is that what you're saying? Orange brown. So you just go the opposite. So I'm gonna make a glaze of this. And then how do you know when the consistency is right for a glaze? Oh, you guys can't see. And the colors look a little weird on camera. So this is where I'm mixing right here. Put some blonde hair, orange brown, and a little water over the line where it splits. Draw your brush over printed text and it should look like a highlighter. Oh, that's a good idea. That's not, I don't think that's watery enough. Put some blonde hair in orange brown. You see how that stroke is between the blonde hair and orange brown transition? So each time you load the brush, test on paper towel to make sure it's not over or under loaded. Forever. How's that? Did I go too far? Did I go too far into that block? So I'm doing it right here on this one. You guys saw how far it was before. Now you can do that same thing with the blonde hair back over that transition line. Okay, so I would take the blonde hair right here, this color, the blonde hair, and my brush would start here, like in the blonde hair, and then go back over it towards the direction. Thanks, Night Whisper. Thanks for all the tips. Have fun with your guests. All right. How long does a glaze probably dries pretty quickly, right? Because it's pretty thin. Oh, sorry, I'm so zoomed in. I didn't realize I was still zoomed in as much. Add a little of the orange brown. You said just a little? Hey, Raiders. Who raided? Oh, Troll Lord. Hey, guys. Oops. Sorry. Not in frame there. Welcome in. Hey, welcome in, Troll Lord peoples. Trollza. Hope you guys had a good stream. This is not common for me. I am not a painter, but I am learning, and Twitch chat has been helping me over here. You know, it's kind of blasphemous. I've worked at Reaper Miniatures for almost 16 years now, and I've only painted like 4 models in my whole life. And so this is my 5th model now, so you can say I'm a painter now. So we're working on it. Right now, Twitch chat is slowly teaching me how to glaze. I think I went a little bit too far. So I think I went a little bit too far into where the linen white was. So it took up a lot of that linen white right there. So now there's just a little sliver, but I guess that's what you want, right? Because then you can slowly start to do that. A little more blonde over that transition. A little bit more blonde over the transition. Like a glaze? Or just blonde in general? Just straight blonde? Like, to bring it back? Like this? And then I'll glaze it again. Oops, sorry. I didn't realize I was out of focus. So I added a little bit more, but I'll glaze it again. Yep, a blonde glaze now. Glaze where? Like over the transition? Like just over this whole section right here. Just do a straight blonde glaze over this whole little section right here, where the 2 transitions are. Is that my understanding? Also, Troll Lord, what were you painting? Over the transition lines. Okay. All right, let's mix a little bit more of this. I'll make a wash of... Not a wash, a glaze, sorry. Of blonde hair. Over... Oh, that is coming along. You're making the transitions less stark. Yeah. So I extended the blonde hair a little bit further. So I might need a little bit more of the orange. I might need a little... You know what? I'm going to glaze a little bit of this orange again. On the very top. On the very, very top. Like right here. Yeah. I mean, I'm let me go back to the main camera. Boop. I'm starting to get it, I think. It's still a little stark, but and it might be a little bit too wide. Like I think it's too wide. Exclamation point 90 day, I think. Exclamation point 90 day, I think. Yeah, there you go. Gilded brush. So I think the next idea would be, right, because you want this little blonde hair section to be the smallest part. And then a little bit of... Oh, you know what? I haven't done the linen white yet. Or pure white. No, linen. I haven't done linen at all. Wait. Yeah, I've only done blonde hair. Hey, Fraley. So I haven't even done the linen white yet. Part. Yeah, I'm gonna put some linen white in the middle. But not very much, right? I need to put the linen white like right here, right in the center. Bam. And then you do pure white, but just barely. Oh, sorry, my hat. Got to get used to that. Like that. It still looks a little blocky, but now that I added the linen and the pure, you can blend it a little bit more from there because it. Yeah. Would you do all that first? Would you do like the burnt orange, the linen, I'm sorry, the blonde hair, the linen, and then the pure white, and then glaze it? Or just slowly keep glazing, building it up, I guess. Like slowly layer it. Yeah, Fraley, this was what purple was this? Runic purple? Or Eldritch? I can't remember what I did on the base of the purple. Sorry, I'm zoomed in. Let me zoom out. I think it was Eldritch. Eldritch purple. Oh yeah, you're right. I did Eldritch purple with like a little touch of white. Man, that looks cool. I mean, it's probably a little bright for a highlight, but on the table, like 2 feet away, she's looking pretty sharp. Shiny, shiny. Yeah, it's very shiny. Obviously, I would need to blend that probably a little bit more towards the center. But I'm happy with that. That's a good stopping point. Man, this is badass. Look at that. That's cool. The magic of painting. You know what? Maybe I want to do one more glaze. I want to glaze with, I think, linen again. Okay. Or sorry, blonde hair. I want to do one more glaze, just because it's the more I look at it, the more I'm like, ooh. Let me move these out of the frame. Glaze to your heart's content. Where did I put that? Okay. Glaze. Kara. Legit. Excellent student. Yeah, I'm just a visual learner. So being able to copy like from Kara's actual like start of her paint job. Being able to try to copy helps a lot. Because then it helps explain it, I guess, a little bit. Obviously, your robes are a brighter purple than mine. So mine's obviously a little bit darker, but I will also raise up the highlights, I guess, of the purple. Ta-da. Just don't look at the back. Oh man, that's gonna make like blending, I think. So let me see if I can apply what I know now to this. So let's see. So all these, I'm just gonna look up here, up at the top. So all these raised edges, you would put as like a very light, like light white. And then in the shadows, obviously you would probably just wash this, right? To get into the crevices for the shadows. But if you were going to glaze something this big, you would go from like a dark green down here in the crevices into a lighter green towards the top. Yeah, that's true. I'm getting free lessons. Yeah, not straight to white. It would be like a green, like a light green, like a very brightish, like cat's eye or something. I think cat's eye is pretty good. Cat's eye green. Like this would be the brightest, like part of the blend. Mm-hmm. Mm. But add moth green. Mm. I kind of want to redo the potions, but with the new crystal idea, because I did these opposite. So you can see this blue potion. I put light on the top, like it's a lighter blue into a darker blue on the bottom. But I guess that could also be that it's like empty on the top and that it's full of liquid on the bottom. I guess it could be that. But maybe I'll go back and retouch it later. But let's just admire this a little bit more. Cuz I'm happy. So far. This one. This is the third or second model that I've ever done. This one. Because I did the mushroom guy. I did this guy as well on the same day with his little red mushroom caps. And then I wanted to practice some stippling like on the top. So this is the first one. This one I was really practicing lining. This is why I did this guy. Like you can see on his face and like his arms, I did black lining. Like I traced everything. Like his little cheeks and everything. This was my like practicing lining model. And then this one, I don't know what I wanted to do with this one. I just thought it was cool. I just wanted to do mud. I wanted to do mud on the back of this cape. That was my only objective with this model, to be honest. But I think this model feels like it's a big step up. Obviously, it's obviously smaller. There's a lot of details on this one. So my first piece I don't have actually, because I painted it like 7 years ago or something like that, 8 years ago. The first piece I ever painted was Rock Patch the Pumpkin Golem, and that was at like ReaperCon 2012, 2011. But that was a long time ago, and I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I had no idea what I was doing. Maybe I'll go back and paint him again at some point. But the first model I painted since then was Mushroom, and then Alchemist, Wizard, and then her. So 1, 2, 3. She's my 5th model. Badass. I'm coming for you, MSP. Maybe if I keep working on her, I can enter her. And then I can win a Moonlight Mini. Sick. I'm pleased. Maybe I'll next time I come on stream, we'll continue. Next time I do a painting stream, I don't know when that will be, but we'll continue battling. Oh, she's a Reaper model. You're right. Why did I think this was Moonlight? It's because she sculpted it, but it was made for us. You're right. I get a bronze. Dude, my first bronze. That'd be sick. Okay. The more I look at it, I'll just keep wanting to paint, so. You know what? I might sit in on a couple classes at ReaperCon. Ooh, look at me. And I also have the ability to do some sculpting as well. So you can see. Let's see how this looks. Yeah. So I have the ability to do some sculpting if we ever get there. If I ever feel like it. Doing stuff, you know. But it's just that easy. I mean, not easy, but you know what I mean. I can just pull it up whenever I want. I'm proud of myself. Thank you guys. Thanks for helping. Let's see, top down anything. Let's see who's on. Who's on to raid. I know we streamed. This is the longest I think I've streamed 3.5 hours. So we're doing it. Sick. I can't wait to show Ron. I think he'll be pleased with that. Once I finish it, of course. I'm excited to try more glazing. I think that's my next thing that I'm excited to work on is the blending of like the colors, because that's been my biggest issue so far, is getting like dark color to light color and then the in between doing this. That's been the hardest thing for me so far. I hope you guys have a good weekend. What else? If you're in town, you can go to North Texas RPG Con, do the paint and take there. Oh, we didn't even talk about I got my Daggerheart stuff. I was gonna pull that up and talk about it, but I'll talk about it later for anybody that cares. Um, I mean, it's cool. It's a new system. It has some cool ideas. It's cool things to talk about. Juan Hidalgo. I've heard that name before. I think I follow him on YouTube. Oh, cool. Let me know how it goes, Gilded Brush. Let's see who's on. Kana, Blades, Studio J7, Steve Sketches, Felicia Day. What is Blades 81 working on? Monster Den. Oh, he's doing a dragon from us. Let's see. For some reason, his stream's not playing. Hello? Is he not on? I gotta refresh. Or did they? No, they're working on a dragon. Yeah, let's raid Blades 81. They are working on a Gonzarax. Yeah, I think yeah, they're working on a Gonzarax. One of my favorite dragons we've ever made, the Gator Dragon. Well, go say hi. I'll see you guys on Monday and see how it goes. I'm gonna I think Anne's gonna start streaming on Tuesdays now. I think so she'll start streaming on Tuesdays at her normal time. So generally, when I'm gonna be doing painting streams, like if I'm gonna be painting in the studio or whoever, it's probably gonna be in the afternoon. So yeah, did I say Anne? I meant Rhonda. Rhonda is not on Mondays anymore. She'll be on Tuesdays. That's what I meant. Okay, let's raid Blades. Blades. Oops. / raid. Blades 81. Okay, that should do it. I don't have an ending screen, so I'm just going to send off the raid. I'll start it right now. Boop. All right, started. Have a good weekend. If you're playing in Magic tonight, have fun, be safe. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for all your help. I appreciate it all. Can't wait to see everybody at ReaperCon and such. So, bye. I appreciate all the pointers and tips. So, bye. Do I have an intro? I don't. All right. Bye.